As we all know, Thor Love and Thunder has just hit the cinemas and is just blowing, yeah. And that means it's time we get some reviews and spoilers. So, what's up guys? It's your boy Danny DJ, and over here we like to talk about movies and some tech in it and how to find better ways to watch your movies. Now let's dive right in it. Thor Love and Thunder. I mean, it is not what we were expecting. Those of us that have watched it, and as I said, this would be a spoiler review, so we're gonna get spoilers in the movie. If you haven't watched it, well, we've notified you, so you gotta know that. So as I was saying, the Love and Thunder, well, it wasn't what we were expecting. The storyline doesn't actually even match. I mean, don't get me wrong, the characters were great. I mean, Christian Bale playing Gore was actually fantastic. It was amazing over there, but it was the same type of Thor we were seeing, following the same path, trying to find himself. Wow, Jane Foster, she was great. But how really did Jane Foster get her powers? Yeah, Marvel just plays a lot of goofy things in there, which made the movie go off way from what we were seeing. The storyline doesn't actually match. I mean, Gore being the great kind of villain didn't match into that story because it was kind of like more fun and goofy. Let's move on, guys. So my thought of the movie is it didn't sit well. My general thought is the movie didn't sit well with the characters and the play and the storyline. It just didn't match. I mean, I don't even know what to say or how Marvel made this movie. It didn't. I don't know what to say if it didn't go as planned or what. But that's my thoughts. So I would like it if you drop your thoughts. I mean, we talk movies here. Just drop what you think down below. Give me something in the comment. I mean, but when you're putting something there, try to defend what you are saying. Yeah, make it more legit, make it look good. Yeah, why you think this is a good or bad movie? Just drop it in there. That's what I was saying. It didn't really sit. Like Gore being that kind of character, and then they putting him in the show with Thor, this type of Thor, who is goofy and doesn't even really know what he's looking for. No. And I mean, the part where Jane Foster also becomes the Mighty Thor is also great. But how she became the Mighty Thor makes all this squashy. I don't even... Wow. And you take certain parts like the Eternity. I mean, all this stuff were there and we never actually saw anything to showcase them. Wow. So that's what I think. It doesn't just... It just didn't fit. It made the movie look goofy and... Come on. But you know that does not mean the movie is not nice. The movie is nice. I mean, it is entertaining. See how Thor acts in the movie. You could see that it's fun. But it doesn't actually match what the title says. It doesn't match the characters. I mean, the villain doesn't match with them. But it is a very nice movie. It is entertaining. The visuals are great. Yeah. And guys, don't worry. I mean, the video is in sessions, so you're going to see it in chapters, which will be in the description. Yeah, the intro, the general thoughts, and everything. And we're going to break the movie into different sections, so we explain it better. Catch all that in the description below. So yeah, why don't we move on to the Asgardians of the Galaxy? You know, in the endgame, we see Thor leaving Asgard and moving with the Guardians of the Galaxy to go on an adventure. I mean, to find himself. And literally, from what we've seen in Thor, every single bit of trailer of the Asgardians of the Galaxy we've seen was shown in the movie. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, why? We saw the Asgardians moving to places, trying to save the universe as always, with Thor actually acting goofy, You could see that he's superior to all of them, but he just tries to cope in it. As usual, we all know how Thor is. But Andy is a moron. I mean, no offense to Thor, but how can you save the castle and destroy it at the same time? Then what's the point? Those moments are funny. I mean, you can see that, yeah, he's the big hero, he's strong, he's fast, he's powerful. he will bring down your castle. I mean, what you're literally trying to save got destroyed in the process. I mean, come on, Thor. You get what I'm saying? I mean, we saw Thor do splits. Van Damme kicking splits. Wow. I mean, a masculine man like Thor, I mean, Chris Hemsworth doing split. Flying kicking once. Yo! And for all that saving, they get giant goats as their payment. Yeah, giant goats. This is great. Wow. Apart from those things, we didn't really see the Asgardians do a lot of things. I mean, it is surprising that we think that we'll see a lot of the Asgardians of the galaxy, and it turns out that the only thing we see are the things we've already seen in the trailer. Why? I mean, that is pretty bad. Yeah, it's like we've been tricked. Or we've been lured into watch something that is not actually there. It kind of downs the movie in front of us. It kind of brings Asgardians down. So with the Asgardians of the Galaxy, we just saw what was in the trailer. I mean, if you've watched the movie, you're gonna see that I'm right. And if you've actually seen it. Yeah, so next up we have God the God Butcher. This character's play was actually very amazing. I mean, Christian Bale did his job very well. Yeah. But with this character, we see that he's a very religious person who believed in the gods and who lost his wolves and felt betrayed by the gods. I mean, with everything he's done and sacrificed, he saw that the gods mocked him. I mean, his worship, his family, his prayers and everything was all for waste. And he finds a sword which its main goal or purpose is to bring distraction to the gods. Well, when this sword chose him because of his betrayal and the loss of hope in the gods, he makes that his life-living mission to kill all gods by the sword, which is the Necro sword. So him as the villain facing our hero, who is actually a space god. Over here we see that Thor is trying to find himself, and he is matched with a villain who feels betrayed by the gods. This is a perfect combination, but it didn't go that way. I mean, if you look at it in that way, you see that Thor trying to find himself, what is his purpose in this world, and he meets a villain like Go. He tries his possible best to stop Go from what he's trying to do, and at the end of the show, he convinced Go that not all the gods are that way. Not all of them are such evil. You see, the storyline matches. I mean, it goes. The sequence is great, but it didn't go that way. I mean, yeah, it didn't go that way because in that series we saw Jane Foster in there. No offense, it's not like I'm saying Jane Foster shouldn't be in the movie, but Jane Foster being there with how do you call it? Zeus, with Asgardians of the Galaxy, with Jane Foster herself having cancer, becoming the next Thor, the mighty Thor. There is not enough time to show all of this, and we also have the Olympians. I mean, with Zeus and the other gods we saw. There's not even enough time to show all this because the movie was under 2 hours. I mean, how the hell do you want to make this go nicely? You were telling us the movie is Love and Thunder, which means the main characters here, or the movie is talking about what should go down between Thor and Go. But there's not even enough time for a character like Go, who is played by Christian Bale. I mean, the guy has a lot of weight on him. Obviously, he has a lot of weight on him. I mean, we the nerds, when we see Christian Bale, we see him like, yo, did you just see that? I mean, Christian Bale, who is Batman from The Dark Knight, is playing a Marvel character. He's a villain there. I mean, that will just blow your mind, obviously, because we are fans. But I don't think Marvel thought of it that way. And yeah, because you wouldn't really do a movie like that where the villain is not shown in the movie enough. He played his part extremely well because we see Christian Bale, he acted it very nicely, because even though he wasn't shown in the movie very much, you could see where his part where he was telling creepy story to the children. He played the role perfectly. Yeah, he did his possible best to make it sound great or nice, but he wasn't shown in the movie much, and that is not his fault. But that is Marvel's fault, because they didn't. I don't want to say maybe they didn't plan this very well, but it's like the movie is just going. You just bring us new things like the eternity and stuff like that. I mean, really? Oh no. Yeah, so that's it. So moving on, we got Jane Foster. I mean, to be truthful, this is the best Jane Foster we've seen so far. I mean, her transition from being a scientist into a space god, this was amazing. I mean, Jane Foster literally becoming the mighty Thor. Wow. I mean, we've seen that she has cancer and is about to die. That's when Mjolnir called for her. I mean, and you could see that she could actually use the Mjolnir very, very well. I mean, she actually even got new tricks where it splits and comes back to her again. I mean, yeah, she's really good. I mean, this actually showed Natalie Portman. She played the Thor, the mighty Thor very well. It was amazing, yeah. But that brings up the question: how did Jane become Thor again? How? I mean, when you think about it, what the explanation they gave us was when they were dating or when they were in the relationship, Thor actually threw the hammer to protect Jane Foster. I mean, that's it? Come on, you gotta do better than that. That's all? Just protect her so when she had cancer and was about to die, Mjolnir calls to her. I mean, then we see that Mjolnir can actually reform or regroup itself. Really? I mean, now, why didn't Mjolnir do that in Ragnarok? I mean, that would have been very helpful. Why didn't he do that in Infinity War? That would have also been very, very helpful. No, he did not. Oh, anyway, I get it. I mean, they had to get something for Jane. I mean, well, yeah. Something special had to happen. So, yeah, I get it. But then we also see Jane Foster die. I mean, that actually makes sense because in the movie we know Thor is actually trying to find himself. So Jane Foster literally dying. I mean, you see he finds love, then he loses it again. It's in the process of finding himself. So yeah. So in all, Jane Foster's part was great, but it brings up a lot of questions. Since it is big man's movie, let's talk about the big man a little bit. Thor. Well, this is a goofy Thor, as always. You see the same character arc as we've seen Thor in since the Dark World or the first Thor movie. He's trying to find himself. I don't know why Marvel keeps doing this. It's always that way. I mean, Thor keeps on finding himself. It's not bad, sure, but it's like we've seen the same thing over and over again, but just in a different direction. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. We also see that Thor keeps on losing somebody. I mean, his mother, the Warrior 3, his dad, his brother, Heimdall. They just keep dying. So I get why he's always trying to find himself, because he's always losing somebody. Sure, I mean, it goes. That part goes. But the level of how goofy Thor is just too much. I mean, come on. Really? Him doing splits? That's way over. I mean, the direction went too far. And the scenes where they actually moved to Olympics, seeing Zeus and the other gods, I thought that would be great. And turns out that Marvel had Greek gods and other gods, but they are all a joke. They are all silly and goofy. And moving to our final battle. So in this scene we see Thor actually took Jane Foster home after the fight they had in the Shadow because Mjolnir was sucking the life out of her, so he took her back to Asgard to keep her safe. And over here, Jane had the choice or the decision to make whether she would live the life she had or die on her own terms. Yeah, and then we also have a place where, I mean, at the center of the universe, we see the kids with Thor, where Thor tells them, hey, gather around and pick any weapon or anything you can find. And then he just pulls on the lightning bolt, the thunderbolt, and says, give them the power of Thor. And every kid there turns into Thor. Yeah, really? I mean, are you telling me that Thor could do this all along? Over here, my theories are three. I mean, the first theory goes on with actually Thor could do this because he had the lightning bolt. because he has Zeus lightning bolt. I mean, if that was the case, why didn't you go for the lightning bolt earlier? I mean, it would have been grateful if Thor could share his powers during Infinity War. It would have been grateful if Thor could share his powers during a lot of time. The second being that Thor could do this because the kids were Asgardians. Really? That's also another great, option. If Thor could do this because the kids were Asgardians, he could have done it in the first movie of Thor, he could have done it in the Dark World, he could have done it in Ragnarok, he could have even done it in Infinity War. All these seem like helpful places Thor could have done this. The third being that Thor had to find himself, because Thor was actually finding himself, so he had to go all in deep inside him, which gives him the ability to do that. Really? So you see, if all these were options, all this could have helped. But I guess they were just giving us things. It's just like just doing what they want. If all this were possible, it would have been helpful, very, very helpful a long time ago. But no, it had to be in a sequence. It had to follow the series to make this actually more cool. Then we see Jane Foster coming in there, helping in with the fight. So we also have the scene with Bale actually entering into the eternity, where he has to make a wish to kill all the gods, and then Thor was actually able to change his mind because he had a little bit of good in him there to, why not wish for your daughter? Instead of doing bad out of the hate you have, just do good. Yeah, why not that? So Thor was actually able to convince him with Jane dying, and then War actually making his wish of his daughter coming back. All this is great, but it also raises another problem. If the Eternity has been there all along, why would Thanos seek the Infinity Stones? The Eternity could have made his problem actually easier. Yeah. Why would Thanos seek the Infinity Stones if the Eternity was there? I hope you get where I'm going with this. Okay, fine. Thanos seek the Infinity Stones, he did all this damage. Couldn't Thor and the other guys go for the Eternity to fix everything? Yeah, that would have been very, very, very helpful. So helpful. It would have all this were there, and then Marvel just had to bring it in Thor Love and Thunder to be used to bring a girl back to life, a little girl. Seriously? Come on. It was brought in to kill all the gods, but then was later changing to bring a little girl back to life. This great enormous power, for that, Marvel, we gotta do better. There had to be something better. Really? And then we see the scene of where Thor adopts the little girl. Yeah. With Thor trying to find himself, now he found a kid. Great. You could see that she is kind of like a replacement, no offense, but Thor's love and emotions stuff was with Jane and him trying to find himself. So Jane dies, they put a little girl there. He finds himself with the little girl, and he's replaced his Loveland. Now he is back from old Thor to Daddy Thor. The way Thor finds himself is him actually being a dad now. Okay, if you say so, we hear you, Marvel. We hear you big time. And finally, we got our post-credit scenes. Yeah, post-credit scenes. I love post-credit scenes. In this movie, we had two post-credit scenes. The first one being Zeus is not dead. Great. Yeah, and then he sends out his son Hercules to rain down hell on Thor Odinson. Which means, I don't know how this is going to go, but if Zeus is not dead and he blames Thor for everything that is happening, and we're going to see Hercules continue with what his father is doing, I don't think that the next movie is also going to be great. No offense. Look at how Zeus acted. And then we're going to continue that with his son Hercules. Really? But with Hercules going after Thor, let's see how that's going to end up. Then we also see the second part where Jane gets into Valhalla and is welcomed by Heimdall. Hey, I mean, over here, I think they're trying to show us that she died a proper death and is going to Valhalla, or is in Valhalla. I mean, the proper Viking death. Hey, great. Kudos to Jane Foster, who is now in Valhalla. And that's it. I mean, sure, I mean, they want to give the movie a happy ending. I mean, you see everything goes well. Sure. I mean, that makes it a little bit great. And then my final thoughts of the movie is just like the general thoughts. I mean, Marvel could have done better. I mean, they could have done better. The storylines of Thor finding himself with the girl, and then his love life with Jane, and then the battle with Gore. These three sequences or series or system, they just don't move together. I mean, they don't synchronize. You don't see them to go along. But we had to do it because, I mean, everything was out of the leash. It was no control. It was just going. I mean, the scenes with Thor giving the kisses powers, you could see that if this could have been established long ago, it would have been really helpful. I mean, just new things were brought in the universe, like the eternity. I mean, all this were there. That we couldn't really use them. Oh my God. Really? Oh. So that's it. I mean, guys, in the comment section, just let me know what you think. Yeah, let me know what you think. And defend why you say that. Make it look good. I mean, yeah, this is what I think, and this is why I think this. Yeah. So we're going to end it here. I hope the review was actually great. Yeah. And comment, like I said, share the video too, and I'll see you in my next video.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Stay safe. Peace out.